All right. Well, we're back. Hopefully, we can rebound a little bit from the small blunder we had at the end of the stream we had last week or yesterday with the
Double
double
tight
tight
end.
ends. But we'll hop into a quick Pomeranian. Got a couple of dollars left in my account, so we'll hop in here now and get it going. See what pick we get.
105 or 112.
4. Not bad.
Dude, I got 8 again twice today.
All right, 4. Well, I know the last few drafts we did, we had I think we did a Jefferson and we did 2 Gibbs. So we'll see what kind of comes to us here, but have a pick at the early rounds and try to go from there.
Who's your number 1 overall player this year, Eric?
Overall, I still think Chase is probably the guy to catch. If we had to go running back, I like Gibbs. I do think Saquon's going to be extremely efficient in that offense. Again, honestly, if you wanted a hot take, I could see CMC, if he stays healthy, being the number 1 overall player again.
Yeah, it's just a matter of if.
I think especially with that offense, with Ayuk being banged up and maybe not fully healthy, the injuries that they've had all around, if he can stay healthy, he's going to be used heavily. So I could definitely see him being heavily utilized in the passing game as well, which could help out.
Chase at 1 expected.
Yep, Chase, Robinson, Lamb to start. Who do we like here? We have Saquon, Gibbs, and McCaffrey running backs. We have Jefferson available as a receiver.
I like to say let's do a Jefferson team.
Yeah, so I went Jefferson. We were on a little low on the clock. I don't mind taking a little Jefferson value there. Like I said, I think he has a decent likelihood of being the wide receiver 1 at the end of the year if he stays healthy, depending on if their new quarterback McCarthy can kind of replace or even maybe upgrade the quarterback situation from last year. So.
Yeah, I think it'll be similar.
We'll see. Open up the board.
Pretty chalk.
Yeah, a lot of chalk up front. You have to kind of expect that. No crazy picks thus far, but Chase to start, followed by Bijan, then Lamb and Jefferson, and then you have your run of 3. The 3 remaining top tier backs, in my opinion, with Gibbs, Saquon, and McCaffrey. This is where I feel like there's usually a run of receivers here, and in a varied order. But you'll get your Collins, your Puka, your Neighbors, your Brian Thomas, so Amon-Ra. But we'll see how the board falls and what might come back to us here.
Ja'Cory possibly in the second round.
The rise is real right now.
I was checking my exposures today. Got a big spread out. So
some news that broke today that I thought was definitely interesting. Daniel Jones taking over the starting job for Indy. So I don't know what your exposure looks like to Daniel Jones. I know I definitely mixed him in, especially in some like the super flex drafts and stuff.
Yeah,
I added on a lot at the end, so I'm not terribly upset by that news. But I do think the rushing upside with Richardson is obviously a little bit better. But Daniel Jones is mobile as well, so
I think it probably helps the pass catchers a little bit.
I agree. I think it's probably an actual increase or a boost for Downs, Pittman, some of those guys. I think Jones probably is a little more accurate. And if he's leaning on those checkdowns or whatever, it could benefit Warren and a couple of those other guys. All right, so we're on the clock next. It looks like there was a little run on running backs there. We'll see who's best available is Chase Brown, Ladd McConkey, Bucky, Jacobs, some of the usual suspects. But do you have a preference here, running back, receiver? We started Jefferson, so we could look at backs. I did like Chase Brown if he would have fallen there, but I'm not opposed to doing a Bucky or a Jacobs. Or do you like
a Bucky? Yeah, I looked great in that upset.
Bucky?
Mm-hmm.
I like Bucky as well. I like Bucky. I think his receiving upside this year, like I said, in the few preseason games or the few snaps that I'd seen him play, They were using him a lot in the receiving out wide and stuff. So I think if he stays healthy in that offense, they're a run and gun offense, and I really feel like he can take off this year.
Mm-hmm.
So Johnson and Ladd come up to basically at the back end of the first. See what comes back to us. Looks like Kyron's
since I've had the 8th overall pick so much, my number 2 overall exposure is Jared Goff.
Wow. Just because of the stack.
I was going like early in the season, usually at 8, so I have a lot of them.
Sure. Who are you looking for here? Do you have anybody in mind that you hope to fall? I mean, top receivers, you have Tyreek, Marv Harrison, JSN, Garrett Wilson. Kyron Williams is like the lone back up top, it looks like, if we wanted to go in that direction. McBride's still available. Lamar is the main quarterback. So Tyreek goes, we're on the clock. We have McBride, Lamar, Kyron, and then a little run of receivers. You like anybody in specific? I might go Lamar.
Right, or Lamar for me, yeah.
I don't mind doing an elite quarterback in that position. I'm not. If you wanted to go elite tight end, that's another direction. But I think this tier of receivers is pretty flat.
I don't like drafting receivers anymore.
Yeah, nobody really jumps out to me. The one that I would have maybe leaned toward might have even been Mike Evans, just because we already have the Bucky correlation for Tampa Bay. But like I said, you don't want to. You can always reach for your guys if it's a few picks away. It wouldn't have been a bad pick by any means in that regard. But I don't mind kind of taking your chances on an elite quarterback in that range. And Lamar obviously has the rushing upside. He showed last year that he can throw the ball. So hopefully that we can build out a stack on the back end with Lamar and make that work.
This looks like a pretty chalk lobby too.
Yeah, I'm not seeing a lot of ADP fallers at this point.
Is this a puppy draft?
I'm sorry, what?
Is this a Pomeranian?
Yeah, it's a Pom.
Puppy?
Okay. It's a Pom. Kittle goes a little early there. He definitely has been creeping up. He falls one pick after McBride, but and quarterbacks as well. We had Allen, Lamar, and Jaden all in the 3rd round. So maybe the values will start coming here the back end of the 3rd and early 4th. But just a quick recap in the first 3 rounds. We went Jefferson to start, followed by Bucky Irving, and then Lamar Jackson. So we're 1-1-1 to start, but pretty well spread. We can kind of go in any direction. I feel like we're wide open here. And like I said, I feel like there is a possibility with those first 3 picks that you could have the number 1 receiver, the number 1 quarterback, and a top 5 running back potentially. If Bucky blows up, he could be RB1. There's a world where that is possible. But
yeah, I like that. I have a lot of Bucky.
Yeah, he's definitely a click that I'm happy to make in that range. Like I said,
I like that preseason game, dude. That usage was crazy. I mean, I know Baker wasn't playing, but
even still seeing him outside catching balls, getting those kind of targets. I mean, I love grabbing receivers in that range. I mean, obviously, if you can get your hands on a Henry who's just a workhorse who maybe doesn't have as much receiving upside, you got to take just the amount of volume that he gets. But that Taylor, Chase Brown, Irving range, I like getting their running backs who have that receiving upside in that range. It just gives them an extra push.
Mm-hmm. All right, we're up at 45 here. Let's go look at the board.
So we have a few picks to we're up. A lot of receivers coming off the board there in the beginning of the 4th round.
No really ADP followers.
Yeah.
I wouldn't hate getting some Travion spreading that.
Yeah, I don't hate Travion either.
Receivers
high on Pickens as well.
Zone.
Yeah, there's definitely
I feel like
a little
wide receiver definitely dies here. So
I'm sorry, what was that?
I think wide receiver really has a big drop off, like a little bit after here. So maybe go receiver.
So we're up next.
I think Pickens and Jameson are gonna have a huge year. But
yeah, so
DJ Moore I think is slept on.
Who'd you say was? I'm sorry.
I think DJ Moore slept on. I think Metcalf slept on. I think Metcalf's stats are going to be similar to what Garrett Wilson's were last year.
I'm not opposed to doing a DJ Moore here.
No, I like that. But honestly, if you just look at, compare the Steelers' offense to the Jets' offense, I don't think it's going to be, drastically different.
Mm-hmm.
Garrett Wilson did still put up decent numbers, and that was with Devontae Adams. The Steelers don't really have anyone else in that caliber. I don't think DK is going to go crazy, but I think he's going to be maybe around what Garrett Wilson did last year, which is horrible.
which is definitely serviceable, especially as a wide receiver 2 or 3. I think there's no issues with that. And like I said, DK Metcalf getting a good amount of volume could be.
I could definitely see him getting 8 touchdowns.
Oh, I think, yeah, absolutely. Especially he's a big, strong receiver around the goal line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd be happy if he fell to us here. But I like Sutton a lot too. So I would be, yeah, I mean, I think this is an easy click for Metcalf. I was just talking about
here. I think he's going to outperform ADP here. I mean, he's kind of been like around that 192, 200 points, but we'll take that for our third receiver.
Yeah, absolutely. So just a recap of those. We double top receiver there. So that gives us Lamar at quarterback. We have Bucky at running back, Jefferson, Moore, and Metcalf at receiver. So three really good wide receiver ones on our team. I think we're in a good spot there. Bucky has high upside with the receiving, and Lamar obviously is one of your elite quarterbacks. So I like that turn we had there. The only thing that I might have considered a little bit differently is instead of going Moore or whatever, we could have looked at taking one of those 2 running backs left in that tier. I do think there's a bit of a tier break after that. So if we wanted to go Henderson or Walker and then followed up with a receiver, that could have maybe made our team a little more balanced. But like I said, I'm very happy to get Moore there and Metcalf. So I have no qualms with the way that
I'd be happy if we could get like James Conner, Kamara on this team.
Sure.
We might miss them.
See Ibuka at the middle of the 5th round. He's definitely a big riser as well. Pearsall coming off as well. Definitely a more running back or wide receiver heavy in the 4th and 5th round, as you can see. Only 4 or 3 running backs coming off the board in a round and a half. Definitely more receiver heavy there. So something to keep in mind as you're doing your own drafts is if you go running back heavy early, there is a nice pocket of receivers there. Or if you go receiver heavy early, you can kind of lean on the few running backs that are left there and hopefully get some values if everybody else is taking receiver.
Okay, so Kamara and Connor off the board. What would be the best running backs?
Yeah, so we'll go back. We're up in a handful of picks. The best running backs right now, we have Harvey, Pacheco, Pollard.
I'm still big on Pollard, but it's also I feel like some of these running backs are so bad right here.
Yeah, it's definitely a dead zone. Like I said, it makes sense maybe to take another receiver coming back here. I wouldn't hate if Harvey came back to us. I like his upside. Again, in the passing game, he gets taken. I
feel like Zay falls. Well, Zay just won, so that was our answer. Right?
Yeah, all of our guys are getting gobbled up, but we're up in 4 picks, so we'll see who might be available to us. But it might make sense for us to look at one of the running backs if they don't get taken off the board. We'll see what happens. Johnson comes off the board
pretty far. Rashi Rice past ADP though. I know. I mean, he's
53. Well, he gets taken too. So we're up next. There is a few receivers that I don't mind here. Like I said, I also think I wouldn't hate taking a Pollard if that's our guy. My exposure to Pacheco is definitely a little bit lower than maybe it should be, but I'd be open to Pacheco. I think I like Pollard a little bit more.
I like Pollard better.
All right. I would go Pollard here unless you have a strong inkling on one of the receivers.
No, I'll go Pollard.
I think that'll even out our running back room, give us 2 guys that we're pretty strong, pretty high on. In that way, we don't kind of get completely boxed out if there is a run. And then we can see what receivers come back to us here in the what would be 7th round.
What would Kiwi's ADP be?
Who's ADP?
Kiwis.
So probably like mid 4th.
Yeah. High upside.
So Diggs and Montgomery and
Kiwi wants
after us.
676 here. Kiwi is a big Debo fan.
Yeah, honestly, I was going to say I wouldn't hate getting a Debo. I think he's going to be heavily involved in that Washington offense. So if he were to come back to us, he might be my top pick on the board right now. Yeah, and naturally he goes. Anytime we've talked somebody up, they kind of gotten scooped. So definitely not a lot of ADP value as much as we see very early. But
this wouldn't be a bad team to get Aaron Jones on, honestly.
Okay. Yeah, we already have Justin Jefferson. So if we wanted to kind of build out a little bit of a Miami stack or Minnesota stack here,
I wouldn't hate getting as our second quarterback
McCarthy.
And then we go 2 quarterback build.
Yeah, I think that would be a priority for us. We also have to keep in mind maybe at receiver if we could get like a Bateman, or if we wanted to get a share of Andrews, are likely to stack with Lamar as well. But quick recap, I think we are.
It seems not bad.
A 3-3-1 build with Lamar up top, and then we have Bucky with Pollard and Aaron Jones, and Jefferson and DJ Moore and Metcalf. After our Aaron Jones pick, it seems a little run on receiver.
I feel like this could be a good 2-6-7-3 build.
Yeah, I don't hate that. We'll have to see. Like I said, if we're definitely a little bit late at tight end, we'll have to tack on a third maybe at the end. But see how the board falls to us. We don't want to predetermine anything. But I have a lot. What is your ideal build? Are you a 2-6-7-3 guy? I seem to make a lot of teams that are 3-5-7-3. That seems to be my preferred build.
I guess it just depends if you get Josh Allen or Lamar. I don't think you need to take 3 quarterbacks then.
I'm not opposed to even doing a late third quarterback with a Josh Allen build. Typically, I'll do 2 in that regard. But if the board is going to give me a late stack,
I mean, if someone falls, but I'm not trying to just.
Yeah, you don't want to definitely don't have to force it. Yeah. Definitely some receivers that I still like coming off the board there. I like Downs coming off the board there, but also Minnesota, the Hawkinson at the end of the 7th round. That would have been one of our tight end stacking options, but we're up in about 5 picks, so we can switch back over. Kyler, here comes a little bit of a run on quarterbacks. So
I'm honestly trying to hammer Tyron Tracy right now. I just think he's good. If you see him in open space, he's just good. I don't really care about Kim Scannaboo. I think it would be good to get a receiver though for this team right now. I actually have 16% of Keon Coleman, which I was kind of surprised about. But I was
higher on him than I am, I think.
Yeah, I just think if you look at year 2 receivers, they usually do make a jump, and even if he scores 140 or 150 around this range, that would be I'd say consider it a hit.
Yeah, and like I said, if you're betting on a good offense or a good quarterback who might have his wide receiver ones a little bit banged up in Shakir, I don't hate the bet on Coleman. Your boy Tracy went off the board 1 pick a little before us, but I'm good with pulling the trigger on Coleman here. That would sure up our 4th receiver.
Mm-hmm. Could be a good Mark Andrews team too if he falls.
Who was that?
I think we're up in 6 picks if we can grab Mark Andrews.
Yeah, I was going to make that point as well. Ideally, there are a couple tight ends on the board in this range. So if Mark Andrews were to come back to us, I think that would be a smart pick here. And naturally, he comes off the board.
I'm actually now with the Daniel Jones. He just went to. I think Tyler Warren's a great click right now.
Loveland, yeah, a lot of these guys are coming off. I don't think we have any Kansas City need here. Travis Kelce would be the only other tight end.
Mahomes at pick 100 would be a good click.
Yeah, but for our build, we already have Lamar. There's no real need to go and unstack Mahomes, and he goes anyway. Anytime we're talking about anybody, they're getting picked up here. So we're on the board here. I don't hate an ETN click. I'm open to Michael Pittman. Do you have any thoughts?
I'd rather have one of the other Jags running backs at cost, so probably Pittman for me here. Or
build out the wide receiver room a little bit more. I think there's definitely a drop off at receiver coming here shortly. We could have reached for a little bit for Bateman as well if we scrolled a little bit more, but I'm good with Pittman there. I think he's good value, especially with we had just talked about the Daniel Jones winning the starting job. Pittman might be a big benefactor of that. So.
What is your show called?
Oh, what's our show called? That's a good question. Waiver Wire Warrior.
What?
It's kind of a joke, but Weaver Wire Warrior.
Is that like what you named it?
Yeah.
Oh, Weaver?
Weaver.
Weaver. Oh. Go Bills. Did the Bills win?
I'm actually like kind of surprised that name was like available.
Yeah. So, quick recap. Like I said, we can see where we stand. We have Lamar at quarterback. We have 3 running backs with Bucky, Tony Pollard, and Aaron Jones. We have Jefferson, DJ Moore, DK Metcalf, Keon Coleman, and Michael Pittman at receiver, and no tight ends yet.
I don't hate getting Caleb on this team with DJ Moore.
Sure. Yeah, I was going to say we have Caleb as a quarterback option. McCarthy's still available. Also, we have the double stack with Aaron Jones.
I think this could be like a good Keenan Allen, Christian Kirk team too, because I don't feel super confident in Keon Coleman or Pittman. So
yeah, I think they're good. I don't want to say upside guys, but Coleman's definitely more of an upside.
Riskier. Pittman's been injury prone lately, so he could just be like a total miss at that.
Sure.
Call.
Yeah, but I feel like there is he showed that he can do it before. I don't think it's a complete swing in the dark there. So,
I mean, this would be a good Bateman pick too.
Yeah, I think Bateman would make sense. He would make sense here if he was available, just being a decent stacking option with Lamar, so he's not naked. Not that you can't do an elite quarterback naked.
How many points did Bateman have last year? I know he had like 8 touchdowns.
I think he had 152, which is
so he's probably gonna have some touchdown regression, but I think that might be around the yards. Like,
yeah, but I agree. I think there's realistic touchdown regression, but I also think if he's their deep ball threat, and teams are keying on Henry in the run game, and Zay is their number 1, he might just get good matchups and be able to kind of duplicate those efforts. But naturally, he goes off the board.
I have high exposure to him. Hopefully Caleb falls. But for me,
I was going to say if Kelsey fell too, he was the ADP there.
I think that was the Mahomes team cue. Click on thongs.
It was not their quarterback list, which is surprising.
That's only 2 running backs.
I wouldn't hate maybe taking McCarthy here.
Yeah, that would actually be a better stack with Jefferson rather than DJ Moore.
Jefferson and Aaron Jones.
And maybe even if Caleb fell, then we have like 3 like great stacks.
Mm-hmm. But we'll secure the double stack there with McCarthy, and we honestly could shut down the quarterback room at that point. I do think this would be a decent range if he were to come back. I don't want to speak too soon, obviously, but Njoku would be a good option here because we don't have a tight end yet. Otherwise, I'm open to either a running back, which we have a 2-3-5-0 build right now. So, like I said, keeping in mind tight end, but we're kind of open to other options as well.
Mm-hmm.
Up in 2 picks. Would you be open to taking in Njoku if he were to come back to us, or do you have another thought, or what's your opinion on which way you would go?
Probably him or Caleb, yeah. I mean, I know we don't need another quarterback, but that'd be some crazy stacks that we have here. I think Caleb gets nice. We are really thin at running back, but I don't really like the running backs around here. I mean, I've been hit and take Bixby a lot, but
I think we have a bigger need at tight end right now. Just getting like a guy who we think could get big volume and potentially be a top 6 to 5, 4, 3 tight end if he takes that next step. I think Njoku has that kind of upside, and if we didn't take tight end there and there was a small run, we might get boxed out and be in a position where we don't love any of our options. So,
I agree.
So we'll get back to the board here, but just a quick recap again. Lamar is our top quarterback. No stacking options with him just yet. We kind of got boxed out on a lot of his pieces, but being the elite quarterback, you don't necessarily need to stack him. But we did get McCarthy as our second quarterback, who stacked up with Aaron Jones and Justin Jefferson. Our other running backs we have are Bucky Irving and Tony Pollard, and then our receivers are, as I mentioned, Jefferson. We have DJ Moore, DK Metcalf, Keon Coleman, Michael Pittman, and then we rounded out with a tight end in David Njoku. So we have the whole team is at this point filled out. We don't have any open spots, but we'll see how the next picks come back around.
We don't really get any ADP values, but I think the team is pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, I think, like you said, we were seeing a little more value yesterday, and but we're definitely able to. I don't think we've gotten boxed out on anything necessarily. We've kind of just got what the room has given to us, and haven't really had to reach for anything necessarily either. So I don't hate this build. It's like I said, you're not going to get maybe the uniqueness of that you might get on a team that does have some ADP fallers, but we're making it work.
Guess who has 27% Keenan Allen from
Already? Oh my goodness,
200.
Aggressive. I don't think I have 27 anyway. I think my highest.
I know. It's just him.
I think my highest might only be like 17 or 18%.
Yeah, mine is 19 accidentally on golf before I was paying attention to that. But that's only because I get to pick 8 like every time.
Let me see who my highest exposure is. Who do you think my highest exposure is? I have 2 players. Now I have 3 players at 18%.
What position?
2 receivers and a running back. They're all rookies too.
Okay.
I think it's easier for
Pat Bryant.
Pat Bryant is one of my 3.
Running back. Jaden Blue.
Jaden Blue is one of my 3 or 2 of my 3.
I
don't know.
Elick Ayo Minor.
No, Jalen Noel is my 3rd.
Oh, I should have that.
But I think those guys are easier to get. Some people don't take as much rookies, but it's almost like an upside swing there. So we are on the clock here. I don't need to jump around. If we wanted to go a running back, I think that'd be a decent spot here. I like some of those names a little bit better than maybe some of the receivers.
Yeah.
Like one of these. I might go
Spears.
Spears a little low on the clock. I know he's a little bit banged up right now, but
He'll be back.
in the same position yesterday where we kind of lock up the entire Tennessee offense. I know some people don't necessarily love doing that, but I think that offense, if Cam Ward takes a step,
I think it'll make it take a positive step. So I have like 12% Cam Ward, so actually I think he has a good chance of being top 4 quarterback.
Are there any other names in this range that you might like here? I don't necessarily think we need a quarterback, so we can eliminate that. Sorry. But
the ghost of Kyle Pitts.
Oh my gosh. One guy I will not take a lot of unless I build out an Atlanta team.
Hunter Henry or Strange probably for me.
Yeah,
or
I don't hate that pick.
Like Algier. I mean, he's still going to get touches.
I think I would take a swing at Hunter Henry here.
I think he's going to have positive.
I think he is. Yeah, I was going to say, I think he might be heavily involved in that offense, especially around the goal line. And being that we only have Njoku, like our first tight end pick was at 125. Getting a second guy in that kind of middle tier range, I don't mind doing. And then hopefully they can ping pong if one of them doesn't turn out to be maybe a stud, so to say. So on that turn, we ended up getting Tajay Spears to add to our running back room along with Tony Pollard and then a second tight end in Hunter Henry. That gives us a 2-4-5-2 build right now. I do think we should probably look at getting another running back at the next swing, and then maybe another receiver. I think we could probably hold off, maybe tack on a late tight end with some upside. But I think our tight end room and quarterback rooms are pretty solid at this point. We'll see what kind of comes back to us, but maybe we can take some upside swings at receiver or running back in these next couple picks.
Okay. What's your exposures look like from like 16 to 14? Do you have any that high? Do you have any 16% or 15%?
Oh yeah, I have my highest percentage is 18. I have 3 guys at 18. I have 2 guys at 17, and then I have probably like 5 or 6 guys at 16%.
Who's at 17 and 16?
16%. I have a lot of Trey Harris splits now with the signing of
Yeah, so
Keenan Allen. Doesn't look as good. I have a bunch of Nick Chubb that I took early in the year before I knew where he signed.
that might pay off actually.
Yeah, it's not. I'm not terribly upset with that. I have some Justice Hill. I like him late round with kind of his receiving upside. Luther Burden's up there as well, the rookie for Chicago. I kind of like him.
I don't hate the Justice Hill pick. He might hit your flex like once or twice.
Yeah, he scored a handful of times last year, and like I said, with his receiving upside and third down
they're in the red zone a lot.
Offense. Oh, I see.
This is a great Eckler pick here.
I didn't want to speak.
Not gonna fall. Thongs is gonna gobble him up. Oh no, Thongs!
Thongs is stealing all of our guys.
Let's take a look at Thong's team.
I will after our pick.
Oh man,
I do. There's another name on the board that I kind of like. So
hopefully, is Ja'Cory here?
Ja'Cory went in like the 10th round.
Of course he did.
So Rashad White goes off the board there. I didn't hate that pick, but the one name that I would be interested in here would be Thornton. I think he's going to be involved in that offense, and it's kind of an upside swing. Are you opposed to that?
No, that's not bad. Oh, this would have been a great Eckler.
It would have been a really good. I would have loved the Eckler pick there. I do think he's going to be heavily involved, especially early in the year. I think he would have fit well on this team. But I do think maybe our next pick, we could the running backs kind of got wiped out here. But we'll see what comes back to us. We could also, if you wanted, we could also go likely here.
I don't hate going likely. I think this board is just so terrible.
Yeah, I don't love this receiver range.
Once you get around this range, I think ADP kind of goes out the window.
Absolutely. Yeah,
this doesn't suck.
Yeah, this is a go and get your guys sort of range. Like I said, you kind of throw ADP out the door. Likely there, we definitely will lock down. We'll close down the tight end room. He gives us an upside option stacked with.
Even if he's hurt, he might hit our lineup later in the season.
Yeah, exactly. And he's stacked with Lamar, so Lamar isn't completely naked. I think he is, like you said, if Andrews regresses at all, likely could kind of take over that tight end room, and he can be a big asset down the stretch. So hopefully, maybe he hits our lineup toward the end of the year if he's coming off that injury and gets healthy at the right time. And I think that, like you said, we can close down the tight end room at that point.
I don't hate taking like a Alec Pierce or a Donnie Mitchell dart throw on this team because we already have Pittman. So if Pittman doesn't hit, maybe one of them does. And
I do like. I think AD Mitchell's been getting some good hype at camp.
Yeah, maybe around 18 we take AD Mitchell.
Mm-hmm. We'll see. I'll pull up the big board, see if there's anything else that pops to us. That you had mentioned
Thongs.
You had mentioned Ja'Cory Crosby. I was trying to see where he went. I know it was
our pick.
Huh?
The username of Thongs.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh. Why are you taking a pic?
We wanted him.
Huh?
We wanted him.
Trying to find where Ja'Cory went.
Did he really go in round 10? Oh, he did. The big trucking.
What is this?
That's round 10 is aggressive.
BestBall. BestBall drafting.
Handful of tight ends come off the board there, so I'm happy that we got our guy a little bit before them.
Mm-hmm. No, I like that one.
Alec Pierce does good.
That makes me a little worried. I don't love it. But we only have 4 running backs.
Yeah, so I was gonna say we should probably look at the running backs in this range.
Oh, you know what? How do you feel about getting since we're so thin at running back, could this be a good Sean Tucker team later too?
Yeah, I mean I don't hate adding that in.
Just take with the whole Tampa Bay offense.
Are there any other backs in this range? You have
I think if you roll the dice, one of either Roshan Johnson or Kyle Monganai might have 8 touchdowns, but you don't know which one it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Swift really isn't a big back, so
Well, we already do have a DJ Moore share here, so for Chicago, maybe it makes sense to kind of bet on that team. And,
Take Roshan.
yeah. Like you
I-
said, if he does kind of win the goal line carries there,
Yeah.
that offense gets a little bit better. Hopefully he falls into the end zone 6, 7, 8 times and hits your lineup.
6 touchdowns last year, so maybe we could. I mean, David Montgomery scored a lot of touchdowns for the Lions, so I think the Bears offense is going to improve. So
Sure.
just a matter of if that's their goal line back. Don't know.
I think he's built to be the goal line back, so hopefully he does take that kind of role. AD Mitchell gets swiped up too. All the Indy receivers definitely got an uptick with Daniel Jones news.
Could stack Rodgers with DK.
Good. Do you think we're okay at running back, or do you want to take another swipe there, or do you think we need another receiver? Or do you want to go?
I don't hate getting Hopkins here. We don't really. He could maybe have 7 touchdowns. You never know.
Sure.
Maybe they're going to be in the red zone a lot. He still had 119 points last year. I mean, that's not very good. But I know he's on a downswing, but you never know.
And like you said, I mean, it further builds out just kind of our late backdoor stack with Lamar. So I don't hate taking the swing there. Like I said, maybe if Coleman or Pittman get off to a slow start and Hopkins gets off to a fast start, he could.
I think it is good to have like a one, like, so we got our Thornton as our one dart throw. I wouldn't hate going another dart throw receiver here. Maybe see if any of those hit your lineups later in the year, whether that's like Kendra Lambert Smith, or
my guy Jalen Noel still on the board as well.
Yeah. So someone like that, I think, would be like a good fit for this team, because I think the chance of them hitting our lineup is going to be a lot higher than some of these running backs on the board.
Yeah, I don't disagree in that regard. I do think our running back room is probably our weakest spot on this team, but
it could be balanced out with like Lamar's 35 points. So
sure. And as you mentioned, I think it's more likely that a late round receiver takes that bigger jump at the end of the year than a running back taking over a role that isn't a time.
You got to get injury luck for any of these running backs to ever hit your lineup, or they're just going to be zeros.
Mm-hmm.
I actually like that Hopkins pick in the 17th round, though, with Lamar here.
Sure. I like the upside. I think he's that veteran that maybe Lamar can kind of lean on early in the year, especially. I think he can end up scoring 6 times easily.
Yeah, me too. I want to go back to the board.
Yep, we're up soon. Jack Betch is there. Troy Franklin, Jalen Royals.
Yeah, Troy Franklin had a good preseason game.
Roman Wilson, our guy.
I don't know. Who do you think is going to be the wide receiver 2 for the Steelers? I hate taking one of them.
I think right now maybe it's Roman.
I don't hate that because we have Metcalf, so let's go ahead and grab out Roman. I know that's not a sexy pick, but we could potentially have 2 of the.
I think he's a better build. I think Calvin Austin's definitely a little banged up. He gets hurt frequently. He's a small receiver, but if Roman Wilson can kind of stay healthy and stay on the roll for himself, somebody's got to be able to hit the balls.
I like clicking some of these Steelers receivers in the 18th round, because like, what if their offense just is more back to like a normal NFL offense, and then you're getting the wide receiver 2 in the 18th round?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you can get it, if Roman Wilson wins that job and he's getting a 15 to 18 to 20% target share, being the wide receiver 2, and an offense throwing the ball with Aaron Rodgers, even if he is not as accurate as he might used to be, he's still one of the better quarterbacks of our generation. I feel like he can find an open receiver or look a guy open and get him the ball when he needs to. So
I like that. I'll be right back, and then if you want to do one more draft, I can do that.
Sure. While Luke's gone, I'll kind of go through our build and how we finished up. So we ended up with a 2-5-8-3 build. We went elite quarterback early with Lamar, and we ended up getting some stacking options with him. We tacked on DeAndre Hopkins and Isaiah Likely. We also have J.J. McCarthy for Minnesota with the double stack with Aaron Jones and Justin Jefferson. So both quarterbacks are stacked up. At running back, we added in Bucky Irving, Tony Pollard, and Tajay Spears. So we have both backs in the Tennessee backfield, and Roshan Johnson. At receiver, we also added in DJ Moore, DK Metcalf, Keon Coleman, Michael Pittman. Took an upswing with Dante Thornton and Roman Wilson for Pittsburgh. So we have two Pittsburgh receivers. And we also have David Njoku and Hunter Henry, along with Isaiah Likely, as we already mentioned, at tight end. So overall, like I said, I'm not opposed to the build that we ended up doing. It's pretty well balanced with your elite quarterback and your three later tight ends, but all of which have like scoring upside and upside to kind of hit your lineup at different times in the year. We took some. I would say if I had to give a grade, our running back room would probably be the weakest part, but I do like Bucky. I think he has his receiving upside he can hopefully carry. And because we are a little more receiver heavy, we would only need hopefully two of these guys to hit our lineup. So if Pollard kind of earns that workhorse role and takes over that running back room, hopefully those two guys we can just lean on for most of the year. Aaron Jones, if he doesn't cede his goal line carries to Jordan Mason, could also be. He had a extremely efficient season last year. I think he scored his most points that he's ever had in fantasy. So I like some of the swings that we took on this team. And like I said, whenever Luke comes back, we can hop in a second draft here and see if we can maybe get a little bit more ADP value. But until then, like I said, we'll see what else is available. I know we can look at Thong's team. I would like to see how he finished up. I feel like he was taking a few of our picks here. He finished with a 2.772 build, so definitely a little bit more thin at tight end and quarterback. But he went Justin Herbert and Sam Darnold, which is maybe a little bit of a thin room, especially being that Darnold is a late round pick. Definitely has some top tier running backs with Saquon and Jonathan Taylor. Added Ramondre, Najee. We like that Eckler pick, obviously. Sanders and Dameon Pierce. Receivers, he went McLaurin, who obviously has his own holdout situation issues coming with the injury. But Devontae Smith, Rashid Rice, who might be facing that suspension as well. So his receiver room has a couple question marks. Juwan Jennings is also battling an injury. Cooper Kupp changing positions. But some of these guys have some good upside, so maybe they'll pan out as well. But I don't hate his build. Definitely a little bit thin in some areas, but good upside.
Okay, you want to run one more? Do you want me to share screen or do you want to deposit?
If you have money in, it might just be faster that way. You can take over. I was just going through Thong's team because I said that he had taken a few of our picks. Kind of saw how his draft finished out as well. But
yeah, Thong, we don't like that guy.
But yeah, we'll hop onto your side and we can either jump in a puppy or I don't know how much or which one you're high on right now. I want to jump in. The one thing I do like about the Pomeranian before it's about to fill up and the puppy, they're both getting close to filling up. Some of the advance rates and stuff for the contest are actually pretty decent here. 3 of 12 being you only have to be basically one of the top 4 or like if you're one of the top 25%, I should say.
Then 1 of 6
early advance, yeah, and then the 1 of 6 kind of lowers the playing field to get into that final week 17 matchup. So I don't hate the advance rates there and the payout structure, $25K to first, and then even if you make the final, I think you're getting almost like 15 to 20 times your money back, which is not too bad for a $3 investment.
All right, I'm going to share screen. Oh, that's the wrong one.
I know we had talked offline about doing some other sort of content or bringing some other ideas to this channel. I know we had maybe thought about doing some of our own rankings and kind of sharing some of those things on who we're high on and what rounds they might go in. We also talked about once the season does start up, maybe doing some redraft strategy and picks, waiver wire picks, stuff like that. So once we're getting closer to the NFL season, we'll have more options as to what we can provide for the live stream. And I know we're both into the sports gambling a little bit as well, so we can give some of our best bets or some picks that we like for the NFL weekends or college football if you're into that. So
I'm just gonna share my entire screen because I'm struggling right now. Technical difficulties.
No worries.
All right, can you see it?
Let me switch back over. Yeah, you're good.
All right, let's run a puppy.
Hopefully we don't get the 8th pick.
Bro, we're gonna get the 8th pick. All right, 104. I like that.
Again. Back-to-back fours.
I don't have too many like no running back builds, so maybe we could do like that here. But
yeah,
again,
we'll see how the room falls. But I'm good to go in with the idea of looking for receivers early. Did the ADPs just shuffle a little bit? I can't tell.
No, I like.
Oh, you have your own rankings in up at the top.
Well, they force you to do it, and I was just trying to get out of not doing it. So I just like, this isn't actually my rankings. It just
yeah, but I was going to say there was a difference between mine and yours. I was curious.
Jamar's unranked.
I have to filter by ADP up top.
DJ Joe Mixon at 103.
I like that.
Good thing Thong's not in here.
Yeah. Stealing our picks. Maybe we'll see. Maybe it's the luck of your stream if we can get some ADP values like we were getting yesterday.
Mm-hmm. All right, Jamar. Chalk.
Saquon at 2 before Gibbs and Bijan.
I saw something that like Jefferson's hamstring was actually a bigger deal than they let on.
But, I mean, he's been staying out at camp. I feel like he's been practicing on the sidelines. I think they're just being extra precautious with that.
I only have like a 7% Jefferson exposure, so
I actually have a lot. I think I made a lot of Minnesota teams early in the year with like McCarthy stacks and so on. So I want to say I can check, but I want to say my exposure on Jefferson might be like 14%.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I've had bad luck getting like top 6 picks. I feel like
he was definitely a heavy click of mine. Yeah, he's at 14% exposure for me, so I'm happy with that. I'm not really worried about his injury as much as maybe some other people might lean on. And I think his upside is just so crazy. You see it every year in redraft and in fantasy all around, where if he falls to the mid or end of the first round, he still ends up being a top 5 receiver at the end of there, even if he misses a game or two.
Mm-hmm.
His points per game is just outrageous, and his volume share is so high. He's so uber efficient whenever he does get the ball. So,
I'd like to get a lot more Drake London with my exposures. I think he has a great chance to be a top 3 receiver.
I actually really agree, and for whatever reason, maybe it's just the range that he's in. I find myself taking some of the running backs in that range, whether it be a Henry or somebody above him. But I think my exposure on London's a little bit too low. I do like him as a process, like where he is at in the draft. I find that I don't click him as much as I might like to.
For me, Lad at 20 here, I don't like that click. I don't like the Tyreek click at all.
Really? See, I actually like Tyreek this year.
I think he just has CTE. It's really not. Like, I just think it's over for him. I wouldn't be surprised if he's on a different team, like midway through the year.
Yeah,
which be good for him, but
I think my mind just goes back to. I mean, it's only he's 1 year removed from 1,700 yards and how many scores. Like, I think he still has that upside. Like, I don't think he fell off a cliff that quickly to where he couldn't get back into form if that offense kind of regresses in the right direction to what they had a few years ago.
If you look like at his reception perception profile, the rate of him getting open last year was like a lot lower. Now he could have just been having a bad attitude because Tua was out and things like that. But
And also, I do think he was battling injury last year. I mean, obviously, he went through his surgeries in the offseason and whatnot. So maybe if he wasn't 100% healthy, it might have affected him a little bit.
mhm. Dude, I think he could just absolutely go insane this year. I definitely need more. If you look at just these 3 touchdowns, if you add 6 more touchdowns there, that's
Yeah.
like 250 points. He's going to put up the same points as Jefferson last year. Okay, so we're up.
Mhm.
I have a low exposure on Bowers, so we
I'm
kind
fine
of
with taking
that we're
Bowers
gonna
here.
go.
I think if you can get Bowers mid to late for second round, I have no issues taking him when he's available.
Yeah, so we're gonna kind of. I know we said maybe let's look at like a 0 RB build.
Yeah, I mean, you got to see, like we said, you see how the board falls to you. I know we talked about not loving Ladd there, so you don't have to walk into that pick just because you want to go receiver early. I think taking Bowers whenever he's given to you in that position is fine, and then you see if there's any receivers that come back to you that you like. You could also go turn toward elite quarterback if you're trying to build out a different structure than you typically do. So
Mhm.
you don't want to put yourself in a hole either. At
Now, if
running
Bucky
back or
falls,
receiver.
yeah, if Bucky falls, we're gonna click him. But
Yeah, because I was going to say, if you do go elite tight end and elite quarterback early, you could fall behind at other positions. So you don't want to always necessarily go in that direction, but it's not bad to mix in one of those teams as well.
mhm. See what DJ Joe Mixon here. So DJ Joe Mixon gets a good value at Bucky at 27. Now, Eric, we know Eric would go double tight end here. But what do you think, Eric, about going Lamar or?
I'm fine with Lamar unless you want to take a receiver. We got 5 seconds. I'll let you choose.
Let's go Mike Evans.
Okay.
I think
I
he's
like
the
Evans in that range.
best receiver in this range. I mean,
Yeah, like I said, I think that tier is relatively flat. So if you have a guy that you like, I don't think there's any shame in kind of reaching and going to get
28. I think 28 is a little early for quarterback for me. I think I'd rather get Jalen Hurts or around 42 for this build. So we have a solid wide receiver 2 now. We have the best tight end. I wouldn't hate targeting Jalen Hurts on this team. We'll just see how the board falls. Sometimes I've seen some lobbies where Jaden Daniels falls.
Mm-hmm. I've been seeing some of those early quarterbacks kind of maybe taking a little bit of a backseat to some of the early rookie running backs, whether it be a Henderson or something like that. Yeah. They're sliding up, or some of these receivers also sliding up. So we'll see what kind of the room gives us, but we can keep our eyes open for.
So we're up and
for
11 picks. We can just watch the board for a second. No, I think I mean, I don't think this is too unique of a team. Probably Bucky used to go around 27, 28.
Yeah, and
Puppy 3, it would be unique.
I think Ladd's right around ADP there as well, so nothing too crazy in that regard.
I like a team of Brian Thomas and Drake London. Honestly, this is a solid start.
Yeah, definitely. I don't hate that. Also, you have in I think it's the 6th spot. You have Gibbs, Taylor, and McBride. That's definitely probably a little bit unique.
Mm-hmm. I think I got one of those yesterday, actually.
So 2 quarterbacks come off the board in the 3rd or 3 actually. Allen, Lamar, and Daniels. Looks like there's a little bit of a run on receiver there. We're up in about 3 picks. You want to
check the board?
Sure.
What do you think about here? Would you go Worthy, Hurts, Jameson Williams?
I know we had talked about Hurts. If you wanted to go in that direction, I would be open to that. Well, he gets scooped up.
Do you think it'd be fun to get Worthy on this team if he fell?
Yeah, honestly, I was going to say of these receivers, I do think I like Worthy more so than Jameson. We already went more on the last team. Not that we couldn't go again. Every guy that we talked about,
I feel like we take DJ Moore on every team, but.
Right? I like Sutton. I'm high on Sutton. We also talked about Metcalf again.
Let's take Sutton.
I think Denver's offense. We might have spoke to it in our last stream, but if we think Bo Nix is going to take that next step, Sutton's their clear number 1 receiver. He's a big threat. I could easily see him being up over 200 points this year and kind of leading that offense. So
It's
to get
easy
him
to
as our wide
correlate.
receiver 3.
Yeah, it's easy to correlate some of those later receivers too.
Mhm.
Or with Denver.
We're up again in a few picks. There's still some receivers if you wanted to lean there and keep going into 0 RB. That I also think.
So I think Kenneth Walker. I know this is
Sure.
easy,
I was going to say I feel like this is a range where
at this point.
I was going to say, and if you wanted to reach into the running back room at this point, getting that we have 3 receivers to start the draft, I think this is a good range to at least snap off like almost a hero RB build where you have one top guy and then lean on your receivers.
Yeah, try to get Charbonnet too, and then.
So just to recap, we have Kenneth Walker at running back, 3 receivers with Jefferson, Evans, and Sutton, and the elite tight end with Bowers to start. So definitely a little bit of a different build than we did last draft, but I like it. I like the receivers that we got, even though we might have reached for them a little bit in those ranges that we thought might have been a little more flat. We went and kind of got our guys, but
yeah.
You definitely see again that the 4th round definitely seems to be more receiver heavy. There seems to be a nice pocket there where only 2 running backs come off the board in about like 16 picks there. So 17, 18 picks.
I wouldn't mind grabbing one of these receivers, but I think like if we just keep hitting receiver after this, it's harder if you don't kind of have one of those here.
Yeah, that's when you almost get in like the 0 running back build where you're just kind of taking shots at you almost box yourself out and have to take shots at a lot of running backs late and hope that a few of them hit. Where now if you have like your hero or your elite, or if you think your Kenneth Walker is elite, or your hero RB where you have one stud up at the top and then you can stack some other options that you like with good upside, it kind of frees you up in that regard a little bit. So we're up in 4 picks. A lot of receivers up in this range. Looks like Swift and Pollard are the backs that are highlighted.
Who do you like at this range, or who would be your pick right now?
Based off of, I'm not super high on Rome. I do see that I like his upside in that offense, but I just think there's a lot of mouths to feed. I like Debo. I'm good with Diggs or Golden as well. I would say probably one of those 2 guys would be like Diggs and Golden as Debo comes off the board would probably be my pick. I wouldn't be opposed to taking another back if you wanted to take one of those guys.
I hate taking a dart throw at Golden here, try to get a rookie, trying to maybe get someone like Brian Thomas last year. I know he doesn't have the same profile, but for this team,
it's more of an upside swing with our 3 studs. Even if Golden doesn't produce right out of the gate, if he's thrust in that offense, he's going to be one of their top options, especially with Jane Reed banged up a little early in the season. He might be their number 1 option to start. And if he builds that rapport with Love and is also kind of their deep ball threat, he could be a great option right out of the gate.
This could be maybe interesting. Go Jaden Reed here too. I don't know how you feel about that, or maybe secure another running back. Maybe
we'll have to see. We're up in 2 picks. We'll have to see if one of these other backs comes off the board. I don't think there's any major stacking options.
Jacoby falling a little bit.
I don't hate Jacoby, or if you wanted to grab another receiver. I do think if we pass on Jacoby. Yeah, I was gonna say if we passed on running back here, we would have to probably prioritize it at least one on the next wraparound.
Yep. This is like a really, really good receiver room.
Yeah. So this is one of those rooms where I think if you wanted to take one, or if you wanted 2, but you could take one upside swing maybe late in the draft, but you could almost shut this receiving room down after 1 or 2 more guys.
Yep.
And I think we might have to in the regard where we have the elite tight end, so we could tack on one more tight end. We're going to have to look at quarterbacks coming up here before we get a deep run on those. But I think we're going to have to prioritize running backs coming up here soon because we only do have the one up top with Kenneth Walker.
Start hammering running backs.
Mm-hmm.
Quarterbacks probably to target. We're not going to get Bo Nix or Baker on this team.
I was gonna say we've seen some Baker slides, but I don't know if it would make it back to us. It would be something to consider if he did make it back.
Yeah,
Jordan Love's a good option. Geno Smith's a good
Jordan
option.
Love, and
I think Geno would actually be a really good option, being that we have Myers and Brock.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
I think that he should probably be a priority for us, especially in those mid to like the later end of the mid rounds.
I'd love to get Tyrone Tracy on this team. I think he's gonna
Actually, if he's your guy, I think he would actually fit this build very well. I agree with that. Brian Robinson going a little bit early here, which is strange. I don't know if they don't know the news or if they're just hoping he gets maybe put in a better situation. But
yeah, I wouldn't click him right now. I'm good on that.
no, I would probably want to let him settle. I feel like his ADP is definitely going to fluctuate, so you don't want to buy if he's going to dip. You can get him later. It's tough to buy him early, I guess.
So we're up in 4 picks. I really would like to get Tyrone Tracy. Jordan Mason's ADP doesn't really make sense to me here. So we go.
Tracy goes. But I think they're thinking that Mason's going to be the goal line back in that Minnesota offense.
He probably.
We already have the stack with Jefferson as well if we wanted to add him in there.
Yeah, so I guess we got to click him unless you think Baker. What do you think?
I think we probably need running back a little bit more. We have other stacking options later. Maybe Baker would make it back to us.
I wouldn't hate trying to get Charbonnet on this build. I mean, he's glass, but at the same time, do we want someone more unique in a lineup that can hit more often?
I don't hate Charbonnet if he was our fourth, but being that we would have 2 running backs in our first 3 with the same bye week on the same team, you might make us
honestly on 0 RB teams I've done in the past. I'll take ETN and then I'll take Bigsby, and then I just hope I get
you have the guy. I like ETN. He's been working a lot with that first team too. So if you're getting the production early, that's kind of what you need on these thinner teams.
Also, you could get Chris Godwin here with Mike Evans, which would be interesting. But I do.
What quarterbacks? If we're on the clock,
we don't really have any great stocking options here.
Okay.
I don't hate going ETN here. I know.
Okay. I like that.
People might be overreacting a little bit that Bigsby got the first drive.
ETN had the only touches on the first drive in their first game, so I don't think that's anything to read into too much.
I think it's going to be a timeshare, but if one of them maybe gets injured, you're hitting the lottery. So honestly, if we get Tanks Bigsby on this team, I would love this kind of 0 running back build. We have great receivers. We have Brock Bowers. I definitely think one of our next 2 picks should be a quarterback. Yep.
Try to build out at least one of our stacks if possible and secure one top guy, so we're not kind of boxed out in that regard. But I like the receiving room is definitely deep. We want receiver early and often. I like kind of how we built out those next 2 running back picks as well with the touchdown upside with Mason.
Yep.
And then, hopefully you got the number 1 with ETN to pair with your hero RB Walker. I think those are good upside picks there.
Yeah, I like that. I actually kind of like this team so far.
I do too. Like I said, I hope we got to worry. I don't want to say land the ship, but we have the elite tight end. So if we could build out some nice stacks with our quarterbacks, if somebody might be able to fall to us.
This is a really safe team. These picks right here, and then if Matthew Golden hits,
with the upside swing there,
be a team that advances. I mean, it would be hard going up against a Derrick Henry or.
Yeah, but if Kenneth Walker is this year's Henry and scores 14 touchdowns.
Yep. So, I mean, obviously you need some luck on your side. But
I mean, that goes with any team. I feel like you need some luck.
Yeah. So, quarterbacks, we're 7 picks away. I mean, if Charbonnet falls, it'd be hard not to click him here. But
are there any other stacking options? Can you just go to the quarterback tab while we have a second?
Yeah, so McCarthy probably would be my pick.
Yeah, McCarthy's available. Plus, he would be double stacked with Mason and Jefferson.
I do think ETN's going to have, or the Jaguars are going to have positive regression. This is a little early, but just maybe Trevor Lawrence.
I think we could prioritize McCarthy, and then you have Geno, obviously, with our double stack there as well. So if Lawrence did get scooped up, we would have Geno on the back end. But I do think McCarthy would be a good option here, being that we have 2 Minnesota players already, and he's closer to ADP.
Now Charbonnet might fall here pretty massively. It may be hard to pass on him.
Yeah, but then we could prioritize the quarterback on our next pick.
Yeah. If we somehow get like Charbonnet and Bigsby on this team, I would absolutely love this.
It seems to be a theme with these drafts we've been doing recently is kind of running back rooms instead of diversification, which typically isn't how I've been drafting, but I'm not opposed to doing it if it makes sense.
Do you want to risk the stack of McCarthy, you think, or do you want to?
Yeah, I think Charbonnet is a fine pick here, and then like I said, we're not completely boxed out at quarterback yet. So if McCarthy does get scooped up, then maybe we just reach and grab Lawrence or somebody just to ensure.
Jordan Love too would be.
That's true. We have Golden, so we're not, like I said, we have options. I don't think we need to reach necessarily just because we're not
look at
boxed out.
the board if there's any teams up here that has any Minnesota players.
So just be Addison mostly,
but he just drafted
Addison and Aaron Jones.
Yeah,
I think McCarthy should come back to us, but he gets scooped up there, probably stacked. But we could go either Love or Lawrence here if you have a preference on either of those guys. I think maybe Love makes more sense just because we have a receiver stack there, but I'm good with either if you want it.
Yeah, I think Love's probably.
You could Love with Golden, and you could always add in like a Dobbs or one of his ladder receivers or a tight end. Not that we could get, we can't get Kraft, but I think you could easily add in some later pieces in that receiving core.
I think Jordan Love is a little bit undervalued. I mean, he did have 330 points 2 years ago, and I don't think Josh Jacobs will have 15 touchdowns again. So there might be some regression in Josh Jacobs touchdowns, but then they go back.
And they bought him some weapons in the draft. I mean, they got him 2 different receivers, one being an early round pick. I feel like they're banking on him taking that step and that offense getting better.
Yeah, I would like to get Geno on this team.
Yeah, I agree. How far down is he? It doesn't make sense to reach or no. I think we have time for that.
Yeah, we have time. I think this is a good team to get 3 quarterbacks on.
Yeah. I don't disagree.
We would have liked to get McCarthy there, maybe, but it's okay. I think they kind of have equal upside.
Do you want to do a Tootin here at running back?
Yeah, I think it would be good to get one of the Jags. I like doing that with the Jags.
I know Tootin might not be the sexy pick right now, but later in the year, if he
could be Bucky. Yeah, I'm not sure if he would make it to us, but I don't hate that idea. I think like my idea of it, maybe it's not like the most analytical, but if you take a backup running back, like they basically have to get injured just to hit your lineup. Like this way, if you take 2, at least one of them is going to hit your lineup. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Little run on backs here.
Yeah. Is there any quarterback values right now? I do think Penix is going to have a shit ton of yards. And I do wish I get some more Bryce Young or Cam Ward. So it wouldn't be terrible to get Cam Ward on this team, do a back stack with Chiga Konglu.
Yeah, or one of the rookie receivers as well. But I don't know if we have to force that necessarily. Is there any other running backs? Like, do you want to take a shot on Spears or Dylan Sampson? He's been working with the starters.
Yeah, actually, I don't hate the Sampson pick. What do you think? What if the Judkins just never plays?
Yeah, he hasn't signed. I like the Sampson upside pick there. Like I said, Sampson is only a 1 or 2 round draft difference. If he ends up being healthy and Judkins doesn't sign for a while and just kind of he earns that first team, you just got your starting running back in the 12th, 13th, 14th round.
Now, this is like a team that we're going to probably mainly have a receiver in our flex, but for the slim amount of running backs we do have, I do think there's decent upside.
Yeah, good upside. Touchdown potential. I don't hate the running back room at all. Maybe, like I said, I think it might be smart to prioritize the quarterback here. How far down is Geno? Does it make sense to maybe reach and grab him? Or do you want to just push it and hopefully he comes back to us on our next pick?
What do you think?
What other quarterbacks are above him? If you just click on quarterback,
Bryce Young, Cam Ward, Penix, Tua, Geno.
Yeah, I think we could probably push it around the corner.
Yeah.
If you wanted to take a swing at one of these other running backs, or if
I
you
don't
wanted
mind doing a Cam Ward pick here. I think it's a good upside play that we can get Chig later.
Yeah, that's fine. If you want to try to build out a back stack with Cam Ward, I'm good with that. I don't think we're behind at any other position, so not that Cam Ward would be a luxury pick there, but it gives you a little more flexibility in that room. And then I do think we should probably take one more tight end late. So if you wanted to do the Chig back stack with Ward, pair with Bowers, I think that makes sense.
My idea for like a back, we probably won't even get Chig, but
there are other receiver options as well.
We can do like a Elick at Iomanor.
Yeah, Lockett's available, or one of the other
like that
Tennessee tight ends.
I think like if you just keep in mind like Jaden Daniels went insane last year. What if? I mean, we're not going to get the rushing upside from Cam Ward, but you never know.
I mean, yeah, he's a bigger quarterback. I don't think rushing is his strong suit, but if they do get down and that offense is efficient, they get down to the goal line and he does run the ball in 4 or 5 times, or somehow falls in the end zone a few times, I don't think it's a bad idea to take. I mean, he's the number one pick for a reason. I think there is inherent upside there.
Yeah, we should have maybe reached for Geno there, but
well, only one other quarterback's come off the board with Penix, so I don't think it's set in stone that Geno might get swooped up here. But I do think we should prioritize him on this, maybe the next pick if he does come back around. Mm-hmm. Being that we have kind of the stack already built out for him, it makes sense with this build as well.
I don't mind going like QB, tight end, and then just wide receiver running back.
Yeah. I think those last picks will have some luxury swings there.
Yeah.
We'll see if he comes back. We have a few picks left. Yeah. I think it makes sense to take Geno in this spot.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good pick. So we got our stack with Geno, Brock, and Jacoby.
I think if this board falls how we need it to, and Chig is the next pick, then the Ward pick worked out exactly how we needed it to.
How we wanted it to, yeah.
Yep. We would have played the board specifically correct. Otherwise, like I said, we could look at other tight end options.
Yeah, or a receiver or something like that.
Mm-hmm. There are a couple. This is the round where this is how I always get my Jalen Wells and my Pat Bryant exposures and everything. Being at this range, I always find myself taking up like.
I don't hate taking Pat Bryant because we do have Cortland Sutton. So another throw. What do you think about that? Or is there anything?
I'm good with that unless you feel strongly about pulling up one of these other tight ends. But I'm fine with pushing it around the corner since it's not really a stacking option.
Yeah,
we can see if I like taking the receiver here. And then maybe if K. Daughton comes back to us because we have the Mike Evans.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Nice little team correlation, at least.
Yeah. It's hard for me to pass on Jonnu. I left a lot of shares, but
I like Jonnu. I mean, I think he might have a little more upside than Otten. Otten just makes sense for the build.
I think it's good for the build and the correlation. So maybe if Mike Evans is going to touchdown, Cade will. So I think that makes sense for this team.
And then, like we had mentioned later in the draft, just to build out the Tennessee stack a little bit more, we can look at one of their receivers in the late round picks. But I think that it would make sense for our next pick to prioritize tight end, being that we only have Bowers. But like I said, being that we grabbed Bowers early, we spent the draft capital. You expect him to be the one that hits your lineup. These tight ends would maybe give you a spike week, or if God forbid Bowers went down, you would just need a guy that can fill and hit your lineup.
Yeah.
Give you a handful of points.
So we're 10 picks, so we got some time.
Can we do a team recap?
Yeah, so we have Jordan Love, Cam Ward, Geno, We kind of went hero RB, so Kenneth Walker, Jordan Mason, ETN. We did get Charbonnet. I know that's not everyone's favorite thing to just get 2 running backs, but I think like they're kind of just one together because Walker's probably going to get hurt. And then you never know if Judkins is never going to play football this year, so we did grab Dylan Sampson. Then Jefferson, Mike Evans, Cortland Sutton, Matthew Golden, Jacoby Myers. I love this wide receiver room right here. And then we have some correlation with Sutton, Pat Bryant here. And then we have probably the best tight end prospect that we could get. So
I like the rookie receiver swings that we took too. I think Golden is going to be early and often. He might be productive early. And then Pat Bryant, the coaching staff seems to like him. Hopefully he can work his way into that receiving core later in the year and be effective for us. So.
We did get lose out on Kate Allen here, so I don't mind going like Jonnu Smith or Kazeki. And then probably for our last receiver, maybe get like a veteran that could definitely hit the lineup maybe once or twice, just like a safer pick because we did have take already 2 rookies here.
Sure. No, I think we're up in 2, so I don't want to, like I said, speak too soon, but I don't want him to time out and take our guy. I was hoping Jonnu would come to us. Did this freeze? Oh, he went Waller. Okay. I would love it if Jonnu kind of fell to us here. I think it's good ADP value at this point. I think he could be a big part of that Pittsburgh offense. And just, I think he has that good upside. He's an upside swing with leaning on Bowers. If he is as good as he was last year somehow, or has a couple spike weeks, I think he's a perfect fit for this tight end room.
Mm-hmm. So we only have 5 running backs. What do you think? Or should we go running back or receiver? What would Kiwi do?
Running back, receiver.
I think we probably could use a running back a little more than a receiver, but I'm not opposed to going in either way. If there's a running back that's available to us that you really like, or that you think would fit this team, then I'm not opposed to doing that. Otherwise, I think we're fine to go receiver if we wanted to.
I wish we could get like Eckler or something. Maybe Justice Hill's not a terrible idea.
You want to hit just the running back tab and see if there's any other names that jump out to you?
I mean, no one really. I mean, Sean Tucker's kind of been getting some noise lately. Damian Pierce could be the starter in Houston for a bit. You never know. I don't really like those players.
You got 8 seconds, so I'm good with any of those names.
I'm going to take an older receiver. He got paid $36 million, like I said yesterday.
Mm-hmm. And plus, somebody's got to catch balls in that offense. And if Malik Neighbors is a little bit banged up right now, Slayton could easily just slot him in as the wide receiver 2 or earn his target share if he's catching 5, 6, 7 balls a week. I don't think it's a bad late round swing. I
think we can take running back at our next pick. I think there's really no one that stands out to me right here. I don't know about you, so we can just.
I know Keaton Mitchell's been getting some good praise at camp. He's been running hard. He's finally healthy again.
A very good explosion there, so maybe if Derrick Henry went down, he'd get a big workload. But I wouldn't be surprised if Derrick Henry got hurt that they just trade for someone.
Either that or it would just be a complete timeshare. But I do think for an upside swing, they seem to like him his rookie year before he got hurt. I don't think he's a terrible click there. There are obviously some rookies. I know we had mentioned Sean Tucker as well. Being that we have Evans, if we wanted to take a swing at Tucker, if Bucky did go down, I think Tucker might jump into a larger role in that offense, being that Rashad White is also banged up. So I think there are some names here for some swings that we wanted if we wanted to go in that direction, but we'll have to see who comes back to us.
Is Chase Brown really going to play like 3 downs?
I think he has that upside. Brooks has been getting some touches, like 14 touches in the preseason. I mean, they cut their other back. I'm drawing a blank on his name, but he's definitely the number 2 behind Chase Brown. So. I've seen that Jeremy McNichols is, I don't want to say the favorite, but he's been getting some touches in that Washington offense. but they have so many mouths with Corey. They have Chris Rodriguez. So who knows which direction it's going to go.
Well, you can pick what running back we take here. Who do you think?
Oh gosh. Let me see our room. Can you scroll up a little bit? I would probably go. I would go either Hill or Brooks, maybe. If you wanted to take a swing, I'd go Brooks. If you wanted to be a little bit safer, maybe Hill.
Yeah, let's get someone who can just maybe go in there a couple times. But overall, if you want to recap the team, we're a little better at it than I am.
If you want to do recap, go back over to the other side. I think it'll be easier that way. But so we ended up with what was our build? Scroll up just a touch.
3, 6,
so we ended up with a 3-6-7-2 build. We built out a couple different stacks. We had Jordan Love, Cam Ward, and Geno Smith as our quarterbacks. In our running back room, we did Ken Walker, Jordan Mason, Travis Etienne, Zach Charbonnet, Dylan Sampson, and Justice Hill. Our receiver room, we did Justin Jefferson, Mike Evans, Courtland Sutton, Matthew Golden, Jacoby Myers, Pat Bryant, and Darius Slayton. And then tight ends, we would Bowers and Jonnu. So we definitely were, like I said, we built out some stacks. We had Golden with Jordan Love. We had Jacoby Myers and Bowers with Geno. And then we built out the were we able to build out any Cam Ward backdoor stuff? We might have.
No, maybe it just maybe it was an upside pick. I know we were talking about Chick, but
yeah, Chick was taken before we were able to get him. We might have been able to grab like an AO minor, or instead of a slate, we could have went a longer or something like that. But just being that he is the first overall pick and that offense, if we expect them to take a step, it's just an upside pick there at quarterback to diversify the room. If this team does advance, then that gives us a third quarterback that, if he does go off in one of those playoff rounds, can hit our lineup. So, like I said, I think the receiving room is definitely strong there. And I think if we lean on that receiving room and a couple of those running backs pan out, that team could very well advance.
Yeah, no, I liked it. It wasn't terrible.
So,
I think
two different drafts today. I definitely think we had maybe some ADP values a little bit better yesterday, but I think we were able to build out some different roster constructions today. You had an elite tight end. I went elite quarterback. So definitely some different ways to build out some teams, and I think overall they both turned out pretty good. So
yeah, I feel like they were solid. I don't think they were bad teams.
Yeah, so we'll have to see how things plan out, but I think we'll try to do the live streams a little more regularly moving forward. So we'll see how things pan out moving forward, but we'll be back with some more content soon, hopefully.
All right. Yep. Thanks, Eric.
Take care.